In response to the new Facebook guidelines, I hereby declare that my copyright is attached to all of my personal details, illustrations, comics, paintings, professional photos, and videos. Well, you may have seen that very message pop up on your Facebook feed as people try to protect their privacy online, but it's a hoax. Doesn't really do anything. So joining us with more to explain this, tech expert Dan Thompson with Claris Networks. Dan, thanks for being here. We have seen these privacy pop-ups pop up. Why is this happening? What are people up to?
Well, so I would love to know who creates these things because it's so annoying. But I mean, essentially what it is, I mean, privacy is always a discussion around Facebook or frankly any social media platform. And so, I mean, honestly, people just see it pop up in their feed and they read it and they're like, oh, well, this must be legit. I'll post it on mine as well. And then it just kind of goes like wildfire from there. Unfortunately, though, in this case, it's completely bogus. There's no legitimacy to it whatsoever.
So what is the truth? What can Facebook actually use?
So this is where it's fun.
Oh,
so if you read the terms and conditions of Facebook, anything that you post on Facebook, you've basically given them license to use based on your privacy settings. So there's this idea that if you're on Facebook and you post an image, you have to give them some amount of license so that they can essentially repost it so your friends can see it.
Right.
So just as a function of the service, they need license to do it. However, depending on your privacy settings, if you have it set to that everyone can see your posts, everyone includes Facebook themselves. Now, what is it that you're posting that you're worried about people, stealing or whatever? I highly doubt that Facebook would ever want to use a picture of your dog in their advertisements. Frankly, I would be more concerned about other users stealing your stuff than I would Facebook themselves, and I've personally had this happen to me. So, I mean, that's really where more of the concern is, but that can happen anywhere. I mean, if you post a picture on a website, anyone can steal those.
So, okay, so we know what Facebook's rights are. Are there any other particular rights that me as a user has?
Sure, yeah, I mean, with the rights, I mean, obviously you're not giving away the ownership of the images, which is a lot of the concern seems to be around is, am I giving up ownership? Facebook cannot repost this as part of news or advertising. There's actually a pretty interesting lawsuit about all this. It was Morel versus AFP, and it was a news agency took a picture that someone posted on Twitter about the Haiti disaster back in 2010 and reposted it as part of their news article. Well, the guy that took the picture won $1.2 million over copyright infringement, and the lawsuit said, hey, just because someone posts it to social media doesn't mean it's free reign. They still own copyright.
Okay, what if I just don't like these terms?
Sure.
Just don't like them.
Yeah,
Do I have any recourse?
Well, so if you just don't like them, you can lobby for changes on Facebook's website. They have, when they make proposals to change their terms and conditions, they usually open it up for public comment. You can lobby all your friends to get in there and comment and say, I don't like this. This has been effective in the past. There have been changes that Facebook proposed, and enough users got on there and said, no, I don't like that they didn't do it. So that's one thing. You could delete your account. However,
just be done with it, right?
Yeah. However, anything that you've posted in the past potentially is fair game, depending on how your settings were set. So if you shared something with a friend, when you delete your account, doesn't necessarily delete what you shared. So it would protect you from future infringements, if you want to call it that, but it's not actually what it is. But so really, not using the service is your best thing. Unfortunately, there's just these terms and conditions that we all have to agree to as part of the service, just part of what you have to pay to play the game.
What about other social media outlets? Twitter, Instagram, all these others?
They're all their terms and conditions are roughly the same.
Okay.
So if you look at them, and these are things like nobody reads these things, but we all should read these things
Read the
for
fine
this
print,
very
right?
reason. Yeah, but almost all of them have terms and conditions that say very similar things. The newest social media, Ello, they have some interesting terms and conditions. They've tried to put themselves far from this discussion, so they seem to be a little bit more protective, but there's really nobody on it yet, so there's that.
There it is. All right, Dan Thompson, thank you for your insight.
No
as
problem.
always. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Still ahead, the upcoming course to help people who have